welcomes you to Erickson Stadium in Charlotte, North Carolina, week 2 in the NFL as the Carolina Panthers host the Detroit Lions. It rained all night here in Charlotte. The tarp removed from the field about 8 a.m. Remnants of Tropical Storm Hannah hitting the Carolinas early today, and more rain is expected. Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. And Tim, the heat is on the Detroit Lions. Won only 2 games last season, and last Sunday down in Miami lost their opener 49-21.
And it wasn't just that they lost that game, it's how the Lions lost that game. They looked absolutely pitiful. Now, the good news for the Lions is you rarely see a team in the National Football League play so poorly 2 weeks in a row. Now, they've got a young quarterback in Mike McMahon, and he's throwing to all new wide receivers this season, but that wasn't where their trouble was last week. It was with the run game. They were abysmal, 2.7 yards. However, James Stewart is back this week. They're always better with James Stewart and their running game. Now, defensively also, it wasn't what you think. People thought the Lions' strength was going to be their defense. They gave up a lot of yards on the ground too, but it wasn't up the middle. It was on the perimeter of the defense. And today, if the Lions are going to win this thing, their cornerbacks and safeties are going to have to make a lot of tackles that they missed last week.
On the other side, good start to the season for the Carolina Panthers and their victory over Baltimore. They did not turn the ball over, and they allowed only 7 points.
Well, yeah, but you have to remember last year, the Carolina Panthers started out with an upset victory over the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of people picked the Vikings to be the Super Bowl favorite last year, so that's on their mind. They don't want to lose 15 straight again. New head coach John Fox, he wants to win this thing the old-fashioned way. He wants to run it. He wants to control the clock. He doesn't want turnovers. That's why he knows, look, he doesn't have a lot of high-powered offensive guys. He's got Wesley Walls. He's got Muhsin Muhammad. But after that, he wants to play it conservative. That's why he's turned to Rodney Peete. Pete did a good job last week, not turning the ball over. They're relying on his experience. They want to do the same thing today. And then defensively, they're going to want to play conservatives as well. The big thing for them defensively, don't give up the big plays to Detroit.
And remember, Rodney Peete broke in with the Lions, spent the first 5 seasons of his NFL career in Detroit. Remember to answer today's Sprint virtual coach question. You can vote now using PCS Vision from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com. When we return, the Carolina Panthers and the Detroit Lions on Fox.
That's right. We all have to step it up today. All of it. And we're going to win. On 3 win. 1, 2, 3.
Playing hard for 4 quarters. No sacks, no penalties. O-line on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Fox Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Welcome back to Charlotte. We are moments away from the opening kickoff. At NFL stadiums around the country today, fans and players remember one of the greatest quarterbacks in league history. A 2-time MVP, 3-time champion, 10-time Pro Bowler. So right now, before the start of the Panthers and the Lions, we send it to public address announcer John Robinson.
Ladies and gentlemen, earlier this week, the NFL family lost one of the legends of the game. At this time, would you please stand and join the Carolina Panthers and the Detroit Lions in a moment of silence to honor the memory of Johnny Unitas, a quarterback for all time who brought glamour and popularity to pro football. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Moment of silence here in Charlotte, and there is Johnny's former teammate and roommate, Carolina Panthers owner Jerry Richardson.
Jerry Richardson actually used the $3,500 paycheck from a playoff victory with Johnny Unitas to buy his first fast food franchise, which he grew into an empire, which then became the Carolina Panthers organization, this stadium.
A look at Lions quarterback Mike McMahon as Todd Sauerbrunn kicks off. Desmond Howard 8 yards deep in the end zone, takes a knee. So McMahon and the Lions will start at their own 20-yard line. Mike McMahon, 3 starts last season. This is second year out of Rutgers. Last week, 13 of 25, 179 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
I know there are a lot of Joey Harrington fans in Detroit. Whether you're a Harrington fan or a McMahon fan, this guy, you have to realize, is going to be a quarterback in the NFL for many years to come.
Hand off to Corey Schlesinger, who gains 3 on first down. Penalty flag on the field. Our referee is 21-year veteran Jerry Austin.
Now, before we get the call, just back to McMahon. The guy has got an accurate arm, he's got a big arm, and he's got great mobility.
Holding, 62 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Left guard Tony Semple called for the hold. Semple joined on the offensive line by Backus, Raiola, the 17-year veteran Ray Brown, and Curlin Blaze. James Stewart did not play last week, joined in the backfield by Schlesinger. Schrader and Hakeem, the wideouts, and the tight end is Michael Ricks. Following the penalty, first down and 20. Lions backed up at their own 10. Hakeem in motion. McMahon to the air, deflected and caught by James Stewart. Julius Peppers on the deflection, loss of 1 on the play. Panthers defense played very well last week. Strong front 7. Rucker 9 sacks a year ago. Peppers, the first-round pick from North Carolina. A very fast linebacking group. And the secondary.
And it was that first-round pick, Julius Peppers, who tipped the ball on that last play.
Second down and 21. As the Lions keep it on the ground, Brenson Buckner in on the tackle. First carry of this young season for James Stewart, who missed last week's game with a knee injury.
And if you look at how the Lions started this game out, really, they had a nice carry, nice run on first down. That's set back by a penalty, right? And then the rookie Julius Peppers tips the ball, and that messes up the next play. And then they go conservative on second down with another run. Now they're in a very bad predicament. And this is where John Fox wants to blitz these guys to put pressure on the young quarterback.
3 wide receivers set on 3rd and 16. A handoff to Avion Kason out to the 18-yard line. Mike Rucker made the tackle. Penalty flag once again.
Illegal use of hands. Number 30 of the defense, grabbing of the face mask. 5 yards, automatic first down.
A huge turn of events. Mike Minter with the face mask penalty. And it was starting to look like another ugly beginning for this Detroit team.
So the Lions offense remains out on the field following the penalty. A first down at the 23-yard line.
You saw him come after Mike McMahon with that blitz on 3rd down, and interesting that the Lions chose to run it on 3rd and 16. They got lucky with the penalty.
They run it on 1st and 10. Stewart cutting to the outside, turns the corner, and gains 7 out to the 30, forced out of bounds by Deion Grant.
I said just moments ago, Kenny, this Detroit Lions team, their run game is totally different with James Stewart in the game. Without him last season, they had 2.8 yards a carry. With him, they had 4.4 yards per carry. So that is incredible. And then last week, without him, they were right back down to 2.7 yards a carry. Look at that right there. Look at those numbers and tell me that guy doesn't have a huge impact on this offense.
He played in 11 games last season. Tim missed 5. On 2nd and 3, off the play fake. McMahon gains the first down as he runs out of bounds at the 34.
You know, we saw that great piece by Pam Oliver in the pregame show about Mike Vick and the tremendous job he does and what a threat he is. Now, I'm not saying that Mike McMahon is Michael Vick. Don't get me wrong. But what I am saying that this guy has the 2 things you need to play in this league today as quarterback. He's got the arm and he's got the mobility. You see that right there? He saw that he had a chance to run for the first down, and this guy can run the ball.
On first down from the 34, the handoff to Stewart.
Wow.
First down and more across midfield into Panthers territory, a pickup of 16 yards.
He just smooths his way right through that defense. Remember what I said last night? I said conventional wisdom tells you want to attack the young rookie. You want to attack him in the run game because he's still learning his way. And it's nice blocking up front. Schlesinger makes a nice block on the defensive end, and then James Stewart shows you why he's so valuable.
From the Carolina 49-yard line, Lions on the move, and Stewart again. This time, it's bottled up. A loss of 2. It was Peppers and Mike Minter.
He came right back, and here you got to see, he actually got out of position on that play, Kenny. Watch him here. He's going to get to the inside, but look at him use his arm. Watch him come over the top of the blocker to make this tackle. That is so hard to do, and that's a heck of an athletic play by Peppers. Usually, if you're sealed off to the inside, it's over. Play's over.
Peppers, the second overall draft pick behind quarterback David Carr, who went to the Texans. On 2nd and 12, McMahon in trouble. He is wrapped up. It's Peppers again.
What if he's a gentleman, too?
Yep. Didn't take him down.
Right? I mean, he had him, and they stopped the play, and he stopped. You know, and as a defensive lineman, you always want to, when you get that quarterback in your hands, you know, it's like swatting a mosquito. It's so hard to resist slamming him to the ground. Watch him right here. Look at him working right here. He comes to the inside. There's other pressure, and the man really has no place to go. There's nowhere to throw the football here. He kind of steps up into it.
His first NFL sack, first of many for Julius Peppers. McMahon looking downfield on 3rd and long. Schrader unable to make the catch. Deion Grant on the coverage. Bill Schrader, the longtime Green Bay Packer, looks to be shaken up.
Marty Morningwig told us yesterday, you know, the thing Schrader does best is he beats the bump and run, and he's got exceptional speed, and we're going to take some shots deep.
First punt of the day for John Jett. Pro Bowl return man Steve Smith back for the Panthers. Scoops it up at the 17. Nowhere to go. A return of just 1 for Smith following the 40-yard punt. Stephen Trejo with the special teams tackle. No score early first quarter from Charlotte.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
Kenny Albert, Tim Green back in Charlotte as the Panthers get ready to go on offense for the first time.
Kenny, watch Bill Schrader. Deion Grant's got the coverage there, and then Mike Minter hammers him over the top. So he takes a big shot right there while he's exposed, and they helped him off.
First and 10, 18-yard line. Rodney Peete on first down with time. And finds his man wide open. In Lions territory, Steve Smith finally forced out of bounds after a gain of 43 yards.
Unbelievably wide open. Amazing. Right at Eric Davis, the former Carolina Panther. He's the cornerback to that side. And Jiminy Christmas, was he open.
43-yard pass play on first down from Peete to Smith. First and 10, Lions 38. The handoff to the former Dolphin, Lamar Smith. And he's bottled up. Gain of just 2 on the play. Robert Porcher in on the tackle. Rodney Peete, 14th NFL season out of USC. His first 5 years, a Detroit Lion, drafted by the Lions back in 1989. The men protecting Peete. Lamar Nesbitt back, did not play last week due to a sprained ankle. Hoover is the fullback. Muhammad and Smith, the wideouts. The tight end is the 5-time Pro Bowler Wesley Walls. Second down and 8 from the Lions 36.
No players in the backfield. You know it's a pass.
Oh, and Smith unable to hold on. Again wide open.
Wide open. I'll tell you what, the Detroit Lions better make some. You know, Robert Porcher told us yesterday, he said, you know, in Miami, we weren't even lining up right. And that's how they're starting the game out right now, at least in the passing game. They are not lining up right because Steve Smith was wide open on the first catch, and he's wide open on this one, too. And no one even near him, no one in the frame.
3 wide receivers on 3rd down and 8. Pete, complete. Muhsin Muhammad close to the marker, depends on the spot. Todd White made the stop.
That's where Muhsin Muhammad is so good. Remember we said, you know, the Panthers do have a couple of high-powered weapons, one Wesley Walls, one Muhsin Muhammad, and he is just so big and so physical, and he uses it. You know, not all big receivers use that physical advantage, but he does. He uses it in the passing game, and he also uses it in the run game by blocking.
Muhammad stopped just short, so John Fox sends out the field goal unit. Don Casey out to attempt a 46-yarder.
He missed a 50-yarder last week. He missed all of preseason, so they felt his timing was off.
Solid on the holder. And the kick is no good. So on 4th and inches, Panthers elect to kick. And it was partially blocked.
Sounded like Sean Rogers got a piece of that ball. We heard the thump from up here.
Second offensive possession for the Lions, starting from their own 36-yard line. McMahon completes. Scotty Anderson leans across the 45, close to the marker.
Kenny will take a look at that field goal. Sean Rogers just gets his hand on it. You're going to see it's a very low kick by Casey. There's Rogers right there, and he just touches the ball and knocks it off. But again, the trajectory too low by Casey. Listen.
Ball step.
You can clearly hear that that second thud. And Sean Rogers, you know, if you look for a bright spot for Detroit, when you give up 49 points on defense, it's tough to find. But boy, I watched the film. He played well last week.
McMahon on 1st down. The pass is caught by the tight end Michael Ricks. As we check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
All right, Kenny and Tim continuing his fine play from last week. Deuce McAllister, Joe Horn, and Aaron Brooks were big on this 68-yard drive, but it was McAllister capping it with a 4-yard run, and it's the Saints on top of the Packers 7-0 back in the first. Back to Kenny and Tim.
Thanks, JB. Hey, tell Terry we know it's tough for him to travel, but we love that interview with Joe Horn. No one does it like Terry Bradshaw on the pregame show this morning. That was pretty funny.
Big day for Horn against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the overtime win last week. On 2nd and short, leading across backwards for the 1st down was Stewart. Mark Fields made the tackle.
I'll tell you 2 things the Lions and the Panthers know this too. 2 things we know right now. It looks like Kerwin Blaze is down. But 2 things that we do know. James Stewart is running extremely well. Right now, he's even after that short yard thing right there, he's averaging about 6 yards a carry. And they found something on the outside. Mike McMahon throwing to his wide receivers on the quick pass.
Detroit Lions right tackle Kerwin Blaze helped off the field.
Yeah, now Stocker McDougal is going to come in to replace Blaze, and Marty Morningwing told us yesterday that he wanted McDougal to play about half the game anyway, and then Blaze might have slid into his more natural position, which is the left guard. So McDougal's going to have to take over. He's been struggled with an injury throughout the preseason. He's going to have to get through this one because, Kenny, as you pointed out, the Lions don't have a lot of reserves activated on the offensive line today.
They addressed only 7 offensive linemen, and now Blaze is hurt, so only 1 backup, and that is Eric Beverly. McDougal has not played since week 1 of the preseason. 1st and 10 from the 43 of the Carolina Panthers. As McMahon hands it off, Stewart up the middle, and is forced back in of just 1. Brenson Buckner, first Panther, in on the stop.
Kenny, remember how I said that the Lions and the Panthers know that they've got something going on outside here at the wide receiver, so stop it right there. Stop the tape. You see, they're dedicating 2 guys to those wide receivers. that means the Panthers are going to have to stop the run right now in that kind of defense with only 7 men.
Stewart and Schlesinger in the backfield, 3 wide receivers on 2nd down and 8. Ricks, the tight end, in motion. The pitch to Stewart, following the fullback Schlesinger, and he's met head on by the right cornerback Reggie Howard.
Well, sometimes the guy who makes the play isn't always the guy who made the play, because the guy who makes the play here is Mike Rucker. Watch him here, and look at the push he gets on Jeff Backus. I mean, he drives that play way deeper than James Stewart wants to run it. Watch Stewart. Watch him. He's got a bow outside to try to get to the corner, and by the time he does, Rucker's driven the play so deep that Reggie Howard makes an easy tackle for Reggie Howard.
3 wide receivers set. McMahon out of a shotgun on 3rd and 8. McMahon under pressure. Driven round by Peppers. He did not let up that time.
No. There was nothing gentlemanly about that. Well, I bet you the Carolina Panthers fans who were bemoaning the fact that the Panthers didn't take Joey Harrington with the 2nd pick of the draft are happy now. Look at Peppers. He works around, and this is just absolute determination and perseverance. He comes all the way around the back of the quarterback, around the other side, and McMahon scrambles right in to about 270 pounds of defensive end.
John Jett. Smith lets it go, rolls into the end zone for a touchback, 43-yard punt. Only 23 net. Will return to Charlotte after these messages.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Sprint. Introducing PCS Vision. Clearly a whole new way to look at wireless. By Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We'll pick you up. By Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Back in Charlotte, no score, late 1st quarter. As Rodney Peete and the Panthers start at their own 20-yard line following the punt. 2 tight ends set. And the handoff to Lamar. Smith, big hole out to the 27. A gain of 7 on the play.
When we talked about right at the beginning of this game, Kenny, that the Detroit defense last week gave up a lot on the ground, but most of it was to the outside, where their defensive backs, cornerbacks, and safeties were supposed to be making tackles and missed a lot of them.
Empty backfield, 5 wide receivers, penalty markers on 2nd and 3.
I think they got Sean Rogers on that one, and some encroachment.
Defense, 5 yards, 1st down.
Automatic 1st down following the penalty. First and 10, Carolina from the 32. No score, 3:15 remaining. 1st quarter from Ericsson Stadium. Lamar Smith. Smith out to the 42-yard line. Close to a 1st down. Tracy Walker made the tackle for the Lions.
There it is, a run to the outside, forcing the Lions secondary to come up and make tackles. No matter how bad the Lions defense played last week, this unit in here, that defensive line, they're still a strong group. You got Porcher, you got Rogers, Hall, and Luther Ellis.
From the 42, Peete with time, and the pass is caught by the fullback, Brad Hoover, for another 1st down in Lions territory. Todd Light made the tackle after a gain of 12.
Dan Henning, the
offensive coordinator for the Panthers, gave his ultimate compliment to Brad Hoover. He said, you know, Bill Parcells says there's some players who are the same player every day. And he said Brad Hoover is one of those guys. He's the same guy every day. That means every day he gives you what he gives you on game day.
From the 46-yard line, two tight ends set. Lamar Smith cuts left. 1-yard pickup on the play. Bracy Walker. And on the stop, 2nd and 9 upcoming.
Again, you see the Panthers continuing to attack the outside of the defense. They're going to continue to do that. And then what I think they're going to do, Kenny, I think they're going to come back with a play-action pass. I think they're going to get those secondary players of Detroit thinking about stopping the run, thinking about the run, and I think they're going to go at them deep.
For Hoover. He took a hit on the play from the linebacker, Barrett Green.
Barrett Green, linebacker, coming on a blitz along with Claiborne. See both linebackers coming here, and so the running back has to make a decision. He's got to choose between two blitzers, and you always take the inside guy, and then you let the quarterback deal with the outside guy as best he can.
Rodney Peete now 3 of 5, 63 yards. On 3rd down and 10. Peete to the outside, through the hands of the 2nd-string tight end Chris Mangum.
I think Muhsin Muhammad is getting a little frustrated because I think he feels like he's beating them. He's beating the secondary up the sideline and downfield. And Rodney Peete, you know, we know he was brought in to do the safe thing, the conservative thing, and not turn the ball over. But I think when you've got a player like Muhsin Muhammad who has the talent that he has, I think you want to get the ball to him.
Sauerbrunn back at his own 40-yard line. High snap. Gets it away. Good hang time. Fair catch. Called for at the 12-yard line by Desmond Howard. 35 yards on the Sauerbrunn punt. Back in Charlotte, no score under a minute remaining first quarter. Lions will start from their own 12-yard line. Their 3rd offensive possession. They'll punt it twice.
They've been able to move the ball, though. They've had some success running it with James Stewart. They've also had some success with the quick passing to the wide receivers.
Off the play fake to Stewart. Pass was batted. It's Julius Peppers once again as we check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Kenny and Tim, the Bucs scored only 3 points in the first half last week in that loss to New Orleans. But take a look at Carl Williams on this punt return. Sizing matters up. Heads upfield, 56 yards to pay dirt for the score. 10-0 Bucs. And Tim, Terry does fancy himself Ted Koppel. You know, he does get a lot out of guys. Back to Kenny and Tim.
I don't know if he's Ted Koppel, but he is good.
And a good start for the Tampa Bay Bucs. The inside handoff on 2nd and 10 to the fullback Schlesinger, but Buckner and Rucker were right there.
You have to remember why the Lions are in this bad situation. It's Julius Peppers again. As you said, he's got 2 batted passes. He's got 3 total tackles, 2 of which were quarterback sacks. So you want to talk about an impact player. I mean, last week he made a huge play, batted a ball. Dan Morgan intercepted it, got him the ball back, you know, essentially sealed their victory against Baltimore last week. And this week, the Lions are going to have to start accounting for him with 2 men.
McMahon on 3rd and 8, incomplete. Reggie Howard on the coverage. Larry Foster, the intended receiver.
And Reggie Howard just had beautiful coverage on that play. He had the body position, he had the inside. Probably a pass Mike McMahon shouldn't have thrown.
So John Jett will punt for the 3rd time in this first quarter from his own end zone. Steve Smith waiting at midfield. End over end kick. Fielded at the 49 by Smith. Eludes one tackle, eludes a second, but then is forced back as the first quarter comes to an end. It was the Julius Peppers story in the first quarter for the Carolina Panthers. 2 sacks in just his second NFL game. Back in Charlotte, no scores. We get set for quarter number 2. Kenny Albert with Tim Green, Julius Peppers, strong start.
Yeah, I mean, he is definitely having an impact. What hasn't been an impact has been that Carolina offense. They're going to get another shot out there right now, but they've done nothing. 0 on third down conversions. They've not been able to run the ball. Now they're going to try to put it in the air.
Good field position, and the pass is caught by Mr. Reliable, the tight end, Wesley Walls, a gain of 21 yards.
And again, Kenny, this spread formation, we've seen him do it a couple of times. I believe Dan Henning will probably just stay with that because Wesley Walls is wide open on this play. Look at him again. This is the third time we've seen a Panthers wide receiver or a receiver extremely open.
5-time Pro Bowler in his 7th season, Tim, with the Carolina Panthers. From the 33-yard line, Lamar Smith puts the cut back inside and gains 2 down to the Lions' 31. Eric Davis in on the tackle.
I know the Panthers last week, they won their game by running the ball, controlling the clock, not having turnovers, and being conservative. But thus far, the Detroit defense is so focused on stopping the run because they were so bad at it last week and tackling, and they've done a pretty good job so far of tackling and shutting down the Panthers' run. I think the Panthers are going to have to revert to their passing game. They've shown, so far, they've shown a clear advantage in that passing game.
Lions allowed 182 yards on the ground.
Here's that empty backfield again, Kenny. No one in the backfield. 5 receivers out.
And Pete dumps it off to Steve Smith. First down and more. And a terrific block thrown by backup running back D. Brown on the play, allowing Smith to gain about 5 more yards.
Yeah, D. Brown's a Syracuse guy, so. Steve Smith drags right across the middle of the field, and again, he's wide open. There you saw D. Brown's beautiful block. But
you knew I'd mention the Syracuse.
I appreciate that. Now, look, watch D. Brown. Come right up. We missed it. They weren't going to give it to us twice.
13-yard pickup, first down on the Lions' 18-yard line. Smith turns it back inside and gains 2 down to the Lions' 16. Travis Kershke.
Again, good job with the run defense by the Detroit Lions. And that's what they were focused on. We spoke to Robert Porcher last night, and he said, listen, you know, it was embarrassing what happened to us, and that just cannot happen to us again. And so far, they've controlled the run game, but their secondary has struggled with that spread offense and the 5 receivers in the passing game.
And Marty Morningworth told us I was in a bad mood all week.
Spread out again, 4 wides out this time.
Pete under pressure, throws to the outside. It's caught by Muhammad, but Todd Light was right there. Loss of about 2 yards on the play.
You know, Todd Light, he did a good job, made a nice tackle on that play, but that's where you see the difference between, you know, a Rodney Peete with a younger, you know, liver arm, because that ball took an awful long time to get out there. He had to throw it quite a ways, and by the time the ball got there, Todd Light was also right there.
Tim, the Miami Dolphins entered the red zone 6 times last week against the Detroit Lions defense, and they scored 6 touchdowns. Let's see what the Panthers do here on 3rd and 10. Spread offense again. They looked to surprise the Lions, but it did not work.
Brian Walker came. I like what the Lions did. They got into the red zone, and they came with a lot of heat. They weren't able to stop the passing game with the coverage, so they decided they would stop it with the rush. And watch Brian Walker come right here. He's coming on a blitz. They're thinking pass, but he adjusts nicely when he sees it's the draw and makes the tackle in the backfield.
So John Casey, who missed from 46 earlier, attempts a 40-yarder. And And this one is wide to the right. So Casey, the only original Carolina Panther remaining from their first season, is now 0 for 2 today.
Bill Sunday is brought to you by WebMD, the place America comes for healthcare answers. By Toyota, get the feeling. By the flame-broiled Whopper from Burger King, America's favorite burger. At BK, you got it. And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper.
Back in Charlotte, where the sun is trying to peek through following a rainy night. Kenny Albert with Tim Green, 1st and 10. Mike McMahon and the Lions from their own 30-yard line.
No catches yet for Azazir Hakeem.
And Bill Schrader's still out, shaken up back in the first quarter. Big hole! James Stewart out to midfield, a gain of 20 yards on the carry.
Stewart coming in with an injury, and that looks bad. It looks like he may be hurt. He had a problem with his MCL. Watch him here. It's a cutback play, and he told us yesterday he was going to cut back against these fast-flowing Carolina linebackers, and that's what he does. He starts it to the left. He cuts back to his right, and he has started out with a very big day today. But again, remember, he's got that knee injury that kept him out of last week's game. He's going off now under his own power.
He had an 18-yard carry earlier, and now a 21-yard pickup. And he's replaced in the backfield by Avion Kason.
Now I think is when you definitely want to throw the ball.
It's Kason. Looks to go up the middle.
That's why. Yep. You know, nothing against Avion Kason, but even Marty Mornwing told us yesterday, you know, Kason and Lamont Warren, the two backup tailbacks, really are third down running backs. They're running backs in third down situation when the defense is spread out. They're not your classic two-back runners. And the Lions, after James Stewart, they don't really have a classic tailback. And that's why they brought in, Richard Huntley. They brought in. They're taking a look at other guys around the league to back him up. I think they should go get Maurice Smith. Maurice Smith was a tailback with the Falcons who struggled through injury last year. This preseason, he looks strong.
On 2nd and 10, McMahon fires, and it's dropped. Oz Hakeem, who does not have a catch yet today.
You know, Kenny, when you have a young quarterback, and Mike McMahon is a young quarterback, you cannot win if other players don't help him. And you got to help him two ways. One, you got to have a run game with James Stewart, which they had. Now they lost. Two, you got to catch balls. Look at what happened last week. Look at that catch. That could have been a huge pass for a touchdown. Schrader here, missed catch. He said he's pulled up on the pattern, not on the hit. I believe him. And then McMahon, another drop pass. So if you've got a young quarterback, your other players have got to catch the football when it's there.
McMahon under pressure on 3rd and 10. Fires downfield looking for Scotty Anderson, and Mike Minter broke it up.
Wow, that was nice defense by Mike Minter. Really nice defense. He got turned around. He stayed with it. And watch the pressure here on Mike McMahon. Again, Julius Peppers and Chris Terry collapsing the pocket. Brenson Buckner in his face. And McMahon left some behind on this pass. Had he put a little more underneath that ball, Anderson was going to pick up 6.
John Jett's 4th punt. Well, it's not hit a Panther, but it is down at the... Nope, it was not. The official signal touchback. Panthers back on offense in a moment. This October will be filled with spellbound days, mystical nights as sports' biggest month comes to Fox. Baseball's Division Series kicks off with up to 125 hours of October's magical moments. With thrilling NFL showdowns and exciting baseball playoff action, no other network will broadcast more sports in a single month this year.
You don't want to miss magical moments like this. Derek Jeter really turning the thing around for the Yankees with this incredible defensive play and putting them right back in the hunt for the World Series.
On first down, Rodney Peete hits Lamar Smith for a gain of 12 out to the 21-yard line.
Again, Panthers going back to that passing game, and I think they're going to have to use the passing game to open up the run game. Because so far, as we've said, the Detroit Lions defense, they've shut down the Panthers' run. But they have not been able to contend with the Panthers' passing game. Just a little dump-off pass there to Smith.
From the 21 on first down, Peete looking for Steve Smith off his fingertips. Coverage by Todd Light.
There you got to see a little bit of the speed that Steve Smith has. He went to the Pro Bowl last year as a rookie as a kickoff return specialist. And he won the starting job here in camp for the Carolina Panthers, but he's still developing as a receiver. He has all the tools. He's got the hands, he's got the speed, he's got the elusiveness after the catch, but he's still learning how to run routes. Look at this right here. Atlanta up 7-0. That's a Fox box there in the corner.
Tough loss for the Falcons up in Green Bay in overtime last week. Lamar Smith out to the 23-yard line. Third and long coming up.
They are just getting nothing on the ground, Kenny. It's been, you know, Detroit defensively has been consistently shutting down this run game. So unless something changes dramatically, Carolina is going to have to abandon their hopes of winning this game, you know, conservatively by keeping the ball on the ground and hanging on to it and winning time of possession and all those things. They're going to have to put it in the air.
Last week, Ricky Williams killed the Lions with runs to the outside. Peete on third and long, steps up and throws, and Muhammad thought he had it, and then it was knocked away by his good friend, the longtime Panther Eric Davis.
Eric Davis, yep. Muhsin Muhammad had the position. Again, you see the ball was thrown a little high, and you see how long the ball takes to get to Muhsin Muhammad. Look at the trajectory underneath that ball. And so by the time Muhammad gets it, Davis is able to come up and just bat that ball away. Nice play by Eric Davis. A little slow and high on the pass by Rodney Peete.
Sauerbrunn, terrific hang time, forcing Desmond Howard back to the 21-yard line. 10-yard return out to the 31, 58-yard punt by Sauerbrunn.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Coors Light. It's up and it's good. Coors Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL. Rock on.
Joey Harrington, the rookie from Oregon, third overall pick, is now in relief of Mike McMahon.
Harrington is going to need help like McMahon. Now, McMahon was 3 for 8. We don't know if they pulled him. We don't know if they planned this. McMahon was 3 for 8, which isn't good enough. But I got to tell you, Kenny, he also had 3 passes which were flat out dropped.
That's right. And he also lost the starting wide receiver, and Bill Schrader, with a rib injury early in the game. Harrington's first pass caught at the 39-yard line for a gain of 7 by the tight end, Michael Ricks.
Now James Stewart is coming back out onto the field, and that's a good thing for Harrington because, again, if you have a young quarterback, there's 2 things you need. One, you've got to have a run game to keep the pressure off of them so they're not going to get all these exotic blitzes in third and long. 2, you've got to have receivers making catches when he gets the ball to them.
Second down and 3. The handoff to Stewart, and he's bottled up. Reggie Howard on the tackle as we check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Kenny, on a Fred Weary pick, Atlanta capitalizes. Take a look at Vic. Good poise, waiting for the defender to clear, then rips a soft pass to Ward Dunn. His third touchdown of the season, 7-0 Atlanta. And Terry says he found a little twig on his family tree. He's a fit cousin to Bernie Mac.
Frank back. 88
well,
on the
I love the way Bernie Mac was playing defensive end there on the pregame show.
Did a nice job.
Yeah.
Personal foul here, Scotty Anderson, the Lions wide receiver, so this will force Detroit back 15 yards. Now, Joey Harrington came on in the second half of the blowout loss in Miami last week. Marty Morningweg said McMahon, with the exception of 2 plays, played well enough to win, and he told McMahon when he took him out in last week's game. I'm not pulling you. I just need to get Joey some reps. That does not look to be the case today.
So, well, whatever he did it without telling anyone. But, you know, the Panthers, John Fox right now, and Jack Del Rio, the coordinator, they're saying, let's blitz this young guy. Let's give him a lot of different looks. Let's make his life miserable.
On 2nd and 18, Schlesinger, the catch, Fields, the tackle. As we look back at the collegiate career of Joey Harrington, threw for nearly 7,000 yards, 59 touchdown passes as an Oregon Duck. 23 years of age, 3rd overall pick behind David Carr and Julius Peppers, and he was a finalist for the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award.
Captain comeback, too. He had a lot of comeback victories in Oregon. Score here is tied up at 0.
3rd down, blitz, and 15, pass deflected, and picked off by Mark Fields. Deflected at the line, and then Fields with his first interception as a Panther.
I just said it. John Fox, Jack Del Rio, head coach, defensive coordinator for the Panthers. You see the young guy in. It's 3rd and long. You know it's a pass. And so, of course, you bring a blitz. You try to bring a blitz that he hasn't seen. Watch it right there. Ball gets tipped.
Chris Jenkins got a piece of it.
Chris Jenkins, Mark Fields, great athleticism, speed, makes the interception.
And following the turnover, Panthers start from the Lions' 25-yard line. Pete sets and throws. It's caught by Steve Smith for a 1st down. Eric Davis made the tackle after a gain of 13.
Watch it here. Go back to the interception. Here comes the blitzers right there to the outside. You see Harrington's got the heat on him. He feels it. The pocket collapses. There's nowhere to go with that ball.
Panthers defense, Tim, has played very well over the first 6 quarters of this 2002 season.
They've been very solid. They've not given up the big play, and they've gotten the big play. A couple sacks today by the rookie. And now this interception by Fields.
Pete has hit his pass batted down.
I think Sean Rogers got that one.
Sean Rogers got a piece of it.
So he's had his hands on the ball 2 times today. One when he blocked the first field goal attempt by the Carolina Panthers, and then on this pass play here. Right there, Rogers in the middle of the field. Very big, very athletic, very quick. They got him in the 2nd round last year because of the injury to his ankle in his senior season.
Empty backfield. 2nd and 10, 13-yard line. Pete under pressure, ducks it off. Fullback Nick Goins makes the catch and spins down to the 5-yard line. A gain of 8 on the play from Pete to Goins.
Well, they sold that to Robert Porcher, and he took the whole thing. Goins came up. He made a little block on Porcher. Porcher, the Lions' leading sack artist in their history. Watch him right here. He comes up. See, Goins just gave him a little bump to make Porcher think it was for real, and then they dumped it right up over his head.
3rd and about 1.5 from the 5-yard line. Inside handoff to Hoover, but a good rush by the Lions front, and he is stopped short. So John Fox sends out the field goal unit for the 3rd time.
And again, Kenny, we talked all game about how the Panthers didn't expect to get much up the middle with Sean Rogers and Luther Ellis in there. That defensive line is the strength of this Lions, not only defense, but the strength of their team. And the runs that they gave up last week, the big ones, were all to the outside.
Well, John Casey has missed 2 field goal attempts from 46 and 40. This a 23-yard attempt. Sauerbrunn a holder, and Casey nails it, giving the Carolina Panthers a 3-0 lead as the Panthers capitalize on the Mark Fields interception. Carolina Panthers out on top by a 3-0 score. Late 2nd quarter here in Charlotte. Desmond Howard suffered a concussion last week, but he is all right. Back deep, Sauerbrunn kicks off. Howard from the 4. And Desmond is upended at the 21-yard line by Carl Hankins. 17-yard kickoff return for Howard.
Well, Kenny, let's step back here and look at the big picture. Coming into this game, Carolina Panthers again, they won their opener. Now McMahon's coming back in. So Harrington was 2 for 3, but had the 1 interception. So now he's off. We don't know if that was part of the plan or what's going on over there. But the Lions beat up last week in Miami. Embarrassed, really, played so poorly. But they were without James Stewart. Stewart today has been fantastic and really given them a run game. That's the second drop Oz has had.
That one was deflected by Deion Grant.
Yeah, it was deflected. It was a little bit behind him. I understand that, but he's also, you know, that's something you got to catch. I mean, you're the big free agent acquisition. You're the star coming from the St. Louis Rams and that high-powered offense. You got to make the high-powered plays.
Kenny Albert, Tim Green from Ericsson Stadium in Charlotte. A 3-0 lead for the Panthers. Neither starting wideout with a catch today. Hakeem with none, and Schrader's been out. Injured his ribs early in the first quarter. His return uncertain. Here's Stewart, and he's wrapped up by Michigan native Chris Jenkins. Loss of 4 yards on the play.
And this is, remember Howie Long was talking on the pregame show, and he said, hey, the Rams lost the game to Denver last week. They lost it on the line of scrimmage. And the Detroit loses the battle on the line of scrimmage right there. As Jenkins just comes up around Riola, the center, and just makes his play. And there was no place for James Stewart to go.
Neither team has converted a 3rd down opportunity today. 4 wide receivers for the Lions on 3rd and 15. McMahon over the middle. Hakeem again unable to hold on.
That's a drop.
Yep.
Right in his hands.
That's his 3rd of the first half.
Yeah, and remember, Kenny, go back to last week again. And McMahon you know, they were in trouble from the get-go. They had a lot of miscues. But we saw that package earlier about how many drops they had. And when you have a young quarterback, if he makes this throw and he's got the pressure, you got to make that catch. You got to help him out. Whether it's McMahon or Harrington, they need help.
Lions have gone backwards on their last 2 drives. Steve Smith backpedaling. A return of only 2 yards. Corey Harris made the stop. A 56-yard punt by John Jett.
You've got to think that Dan Henning, the offensive coordinator for the Panthers, is just going to continue to let Rodney Peete throw the football around. Pete's been 9 of 15, 127 yards. And their run game has just been awful. 18 yards on the ground. There's Dan Henning right there.
Who worked with Rodney Peete back in the early 90s with the Detroit Lions as their offensive coordinator. Peete, 47 starts as a Lion. And there are his numbers today. 4 wide receivers set. 1st and 10 from the 30 for the Panthers, who lead 3-0. Peete rolling right, then looks the other way, and then gets rid of it as he was wrapped up. Lamar Smith, the intended receiver. Sean Rogers with the hit on Rodney Peete.
Yeah, I think Smith was better off dropping that pass. And that was good coverage downfield by the Lions secondary on that play. Rodney Peete had enough time on a little quarter roll. He had the time, but he had no receiver downfield that was clearly open. New England up on the Jets there, up in the corner.
Patriots coming off their big win on Monday night over the Pittsburgh Steelers. The pitch on 2nd and 10 to Lamar Smith. Leans forward out to the 34-yard line. A gain of 4 on the play as we approach the 2-minute warning here in Charlotte. The only scoring a 23-yard John Casey field goal. He also missed 2. Panthers leading the Lions 3-0. Hard rainfall here in Charlotte, so let's wipe some of it away as we get set for the Visa Halftime Report with JB, Terry, and Howie. They will have scores and highlights from around the league on the Fox Sports ticker. We'll keep you updated with up to the second stats.
Pretty good windshield wiper on the camera lens there.
Have to keep the raindrops away.
36, no first down conversions here, or third down conversions yet for the Panthers.
The stat will remain intact as Smith was taken down by Todd Light, and in order to stop the clock with 1:48 remaining, because they will get the ball back, the Lions will talk things over. They call timeout to stop the clock.
One thing the Lions can feel good about is that they're still very much obviously in this game. A lot of it courtesy of John Casey missing 2 field goals, but you know, think about last week. They were just absolutely blown out by the Miami Dolphins. They were really, after the first quarter, that thing was pretty much over. And Marty Morningway got to see a comedy of errors and defense that just played incredibly poorly. They played much better today. They've been very good against the run. Carolina's only averaging about 2.5 yards a carry, so they've shut that down. Now they got to shut down a little bit on Rodney Peete in the passing game.
2 seconds have been added to the game clock as Sauerbrunn punts from his own 25. Desmond Howard from the 22-yard line upended immediately. Only a 2-yard return following the 44-yard punt. Gerard Cooper with the special team stop for the Panthers.
I'll be interested to see how this 2-minute drill works, because, you know, I know it's raining hard, but Marty Morningway, again, he told us yesterday that his philosophy and his West Coast offense is rain, as long as it's not combined with wind and cold, gives the offense the advantage. They know where they have to go. The defense has to react. And don't forget, the Carolina Panthers, they've got some inexperience at the cornerback position. Howard on one side, Terry Cousin on the other side. They don't have a lot of experience between them.
McMahon in trouble, taken down, lost the football, and then recovered. Mike Rucker.
Wow. Nothing fancy about that. Just a 4-man rush. And Mike Rucker coming from his spot at right end. There he comes right there. He's got a little bit, starts to come inside. Jeff Backus bites on it hard, and he comes back to the outside, and it's a pretty clear run right at Mike McMahon. Again, you've got a young quarterback, and you've got to help him. You've got to help him by catching the ball, and you've got to help him by protecting him as well.
3rd sack of the game for the Panthers. And now
I don't know what Marty Morningway wants McMahon to do. McMahon looks like he's saying, hey, the guy was on me instantly.
So the Panthers call timeout in order to stop the clock. Next week, Tim, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader, beginning with America's #1 pregame show. And then these Carolina Panthers look to slow down the Minnesota Vikings. And then it's the Redskins and the 49ers. Remember, in the preseason in Osaka, Japan, Steve Spurrier and the Skins ran up the score on San Francisco. 38-7 the final of that one, and they will do it for real next week.
I'm looking forward to seeing that game. Steve Spurrier, and see what he's got against the 49ers defense in San Francisco.
On 2nd and 27, the handoff to Stewart.
Now you think Carolina might start calling some timeouts.
Well, they called one before this play, and now they call another.
Use them up. They've got great field position.
There's Panthers head coach John Fox, the last 5 seasons defensive coordinator with the New York Giants.
You know, John Fox came in here, and he had a 1-15 team. They've dropped 15 straight after winning the opener last season, and he knew that it was not, it was going to be tough to turn things around. But he said, the good thing about this team was after losing 15 straight, these guys were eager. They were ready to do whatever I said, so he had them hit. He worked more on fundamentals, and he got it out of guys like Dan Morgan. He says he plays like a madman. And if they're going to have success this year, Kenny, they're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. They're going to have to win games with defense. They're going to have to move the ball on the ground a little bit. They're going to have to be somewhat conservative. They're going to have to avoid turnovers, win those battles. And in this league with parity, you can win the old-fashioned way.
Lions have to get to the 34 for a first down as McMahon's pass intended for Hakeem sails incomplete. And the Lions will punt it away with a minute 15 remaining. This should give the Panthers terrific field position.
Yeah, McMahon threw an out, and Hakeem broke in. So you don't know what the miscommunication here on this one is. Watch Hakeem. He's going to the inside, and McMahon's throwing to the outside.
7 Lions possessions. This will be Jets' 6th punt.
Watch him now, watch him.
Steve Smith, fumble, picks it back up at the 47. Penalty marker as Smith is driven out of bounds at the 45-yard line. 46-yard punt by Jet.
If it's a 10 or 15, they're
Illegal block from behind during the return. 39 of the receiving team, 10 yards, first down.
That's Damian Richardson. Well, we take you back to early August in Osaka. Steve Spurrier's Redskins and Steve Mariucci's 49ers. Redskins led 24-7 early fourth quarter. They go for it on 4th and 1 and reach the end zone once again. Final score, Washington 38, San Francisco 7. They will meet again next week on Fox.
Mariucci was not happy with what happened in that game, and interesting. And everyone is watching the Washington Redskins, wondering, what's going to happen there, and can Spurrier continue to run up points during the regular season? He did last week against Arizona.
Carolina Panthers looking to add points here in the final minute of the first half as the pass is caught by Chris Mangum out at the 37-yard line. Now a discussion as to whether the clock should have been stopped. Was Mangum out of bounds? Officials will sort things out and perhaps put some time back on the clock. Marty Morningwig feels he was not tackled out of bounds.
Well, while the officials are conferring here on the field, Kenny, just a reminder, a tale of the tape between these two guys, Spurrier versus Mariucci. We'll see him next week on Fox. NFL wins. Spurrier's got 1. Mariucci's got 48. In the NCAA, Spurrier's the guy.
And remember, in the last 2 minutes of the first half, a coach could not challenge. It's sent down from the replay booth upstairs.
We're told they're trying to figure out if this was a catch. There's possession, 1 foot. I don't know about 2. Again, the visual evidence has to be indisputable to overturn the call on the field. Yeah, it looked like he got both feet down on that one, but.
So this is not a coach's challenge. It comes from the replay booth, and referee Jerry Austin will take a look and also perhaps add some time back on.
So he doesn't have possession until now. Now he's got possession. There's 1 foot and 2. Yeah.
And remember, it was ruled a catch on the field, so there must be indisputable visual evidence for Austin to overturn the ruling down on the field.
I think this one's going to stay. It actually is an advantage for Carolina to have this the game stopped and have a review, because they get to set up their next 3 plays anyway. They've only got 1 timeout left.
46 seconds remaining in the first half. Panthers leading 3-0.
So far, it's been the Lions on the ground. James Stewart has had a very nice day, averaging 5.2 a carry. But in the air, the Lions have been able to do almost nothing. They've had only 6 yards passing, and they've been sacked.
After reviewing the play, the receiver gets his left foot down, and the right toe does touch. Therefore, it is a completion.
On the other side of the ball, the Carolina Panthers, their run game has been shut down by Detroit's defense, but Rodney Peete has had some success in the air. moved the ball up and down the field fairly well.
And Tim, I think the Panthers want some time added on. Continuing to chirp at the officials from the sidelines. Pete to the outside. This one incomplete as Mangum made contact and then knocked down the marker.
Ran the same play, and that's the second one Mangum has dropped today.
Clock stops, 36 seconds remaining in the half. 3rd and 3, and remember, neither team has converted on 3rd down today. All of the first downs have been picked up on either 1st or 2nd down or via penalty. Pete's pass is nearly intercepted and then caught by Muhammad. A penalty marker down. What a catch.
That was an amazing. Again, a lot of air under that football by Rodney Peete, making it a very difficult, dangerous catch for Muhsin Muhammad, because you know he's going to take a pounding. Defense with plenty of time to close in and position themselves. And watch Muhsin Muhammad. He's got to stretch out for this. He's got to pull in. Watch him get hit here by Brian Walker. He gets hit right in the head, and then Cash hits him from behind, and he still hangs on to the football.
Brian Walker thought he had the interception instead of 31-yard pass play.
Brian Walker, he earholed Muhsin Muhammad. You talk about toughness of a receiver. I mean, to make that catch, stretched out, hang on to it, take a shot right in the ear, it was impressive.
Now Pete calls timeout following the catch by Isaac Byrd. Muhammad, of course, a Michigan native, Lansing, Michigan, and went on to Michigan State. Now in his 7th season with the Carolina Panthers, he's led the NFC in receptions 2 times the last 3 years. With 22 seconds remaining, we remind you the Visa halftime report coming up with JB, Terry, and Howie. Scores and highlights, and the Fox Sports ticker with up to the second stats. That's all coming up on the Visa halftime report.
Jimmy Johnson will be back next week and for the rest of the season with those guys. Not only during the pregame, but at halftime. Watch Muhsin Muhammad again. Watch him. He's stretched out. He catches the ball. Watch Walker. Look at this. Just bang. Right in the side of the head, and Muhammad still hangs on. That's impressive.
Rodney Peete, Tim told us Muhammad reminds him of his former teammate with the Raiders, Tim Brown.
Tim Brown, yeah. Physical, tough, and he said he knows the entire offense. He knows where everyone is supposed to be, not just himself.
Peete out of the shotgun, under pressure, looking for Muhammad, who makes the catch in the end zone for the touchdown. 22 yards. Panthers extend their lead.
Rodney Peete hung in on the blitz, and Muhsin Muhammad beats Cash.
Muhammad, the key reception, the 31-yard reception, looked like it was going to be picked off, and then on the receiving end of the 22-yard touchdown strike from Rodney Peete. Now 10-0 Carolina.
I'll tell you this, Robert Porcher, watch him. He makes Rodney Peete pay for this pass. Look at him. Here he comes, and Peete just gets it off. He hangs onto it. Watch Muhsin make this break to the outside. Man-to-man coverage. Again, uses his body position, keeps his concentration, and a very nicely thrown ball by Rodney Peete. He had the timing, he had the touch. I know I've talked about him getting a little too much air under the ball at different times today. This pass is thrown perfectly.
Remember what Robert Porcher told us last night? He and Rodney Peete were teammates with the Lions. Their wives remain very close friends. He said one of our wives will be calling the other sometime Sunday night. I want my wife to be the one making the call to Rodney's wife.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but Porcher put the wallop on Rodney Peete there. But a touchdown makes it all worthwhile. Look at John Fox. You know, what a great guy. I mean, both of them. You know, yeah, they both are. You know, Fox is such a enthusiasm that he's brought to this team, and energy, a remarkable difference from George Seifert.
Desmond Howard out to the 32-yard line. 18-yard return. Panthers went 1-15 under George Seifert last season, looking to make it 2-0 under John Fox.
You know, I want to give you got to give Dan Henning some credit, Kenny, because the run game wasn't working. You know, they came into this game, they wanted to run, they want to win low-scoring games. The run game wasn't there. The passing game was, though. And Dan Henning, to his credit, you know, he's making this thing go through the air. 197 yards passing today for Rodney Peete.
So now with 11 seconds remaining in the half, Mike McMahon working out of the shotgun. Lions from their own 32-yard line. McMahon under pressure. Set for the fourth time. Ball is loose. It's still loose. Recovered by the Panthers. Yet time runs out. The half comes to an end. McMahon sacked 4 times.
McMahon, it looks like he's hurt.
Yep.
He gets hammered again by Julius Peppers.
Peppers putting the exclamation point on a tremendous first half for both himself and the entire Carolina Panthers defense. McMahon has been sacked more times than he's completed a pass today. Only 3 completions, and he was sacked 4 times.
It has been an ugly offensive performance by the Detroit Lions.
They trail the Carolina Panthers 10-0 at the half. We'll return with more in just a moment. Halftime in Charlotte, a 10-0 lead for the Carolina Panthers over the Detroit Lions. Rodney Peete, 197 yards in the air and a touchdown for the Panthers against one of his former clubs. Coming up after these messages, JB, Howie, and Terry from Los Angeles.
At the half there, 10-0 Carolina on top of Detroit. Rodney Peete at the helm.
Here comes your all-out blitz. When you get a blitz like this, you have man-to-man coverage on the outside. If you got a quarterback that can get it off, which is exactly what Rodney Peete did, Muhsin Muhammad down to the post, into the corner, man-for-man, 22-yard touchdown. Panthers 10-0 over the Lions at the half. Green Bay, Brett Favre. Is this guy good? Yeah, he's good. He's real good. Watch this, the opening drive. Deuce McAllister, 4-yard touchdown run. Saints on their opening drive score touchdown, 7-0. Ricky who? Ricky Williams, he's down in Miami. All right, Favre back. Guns this baby. Darren Smith says, thank you very much. Ending a streak of 158 consecutive games, regular season games, without an interception. That's Brett Favre. And then Aaron Brooks bootlegs, finds Jerome Pathon, 5-yard touchdown on a crossing route, 14-3 Saints. Now, here you go, a little quick screen out to Dante.
Offense is showing great balance. 14 runs, 14 passes. Here's the rest of the news. 4 yards total passing, 61 total yards, 6 first downs, and 0 for 8 on third down conversions. Folks, we're making a trip up there.
That third down stuff.
We're making a trip up there next week. And
oh, man.
God, I hope someone's around when we get there.
I'm looking forward to seeing Ford Stadium. I drive Ford trucks, and I'm looking forward to meeting Mr. Ford. Okay. That's my stuff. Me too. That's my in-depth stuff right there. I'm not saying anything else about that.
For once, not a quick hook on Mike McMahon.
Mike McMahon, get him out of there. Put Harrington in there. You got nothing going on up there anyway.
He's in there. Folks, we will take you back to the second half.
I'm excited to be there.
Right after this.
Back in Charlotte, week 2 of the NFL season, 10-0 halftime lead for the Carolina Panthers, who defeated the Ravens 10-7 a week ago. Kenny Albert with Tim Green and Tim in the open. We talked about that Carolina victory last week offensively. Did not turn the ball over. Defensively, played very well. Same story today.
Yeah, same story, except Carolina on offense. They've had more success throwing the ball. That's the only thing the Detroit Lions defense has given them. But this game really has been about the Panthers defense. And John Fox, the former coordinator for the New York Giants, boy, he brought some aggressiveness with him. He also had a rookie draft pick in Julius Peppers, who has had a huge impact on this game. Mike McMahon has been pounded. and then, you know, just relentlessly. And this defense has come up with big plays, turnovers. That's how they ended the half. Fittingly, Mike McMahon just being crushed by that Panthers defense.
Julius Peppers with 3 sacks. Mike Rucker had the other one for the Panthers, as Jason Hansen's kickoff sails to the back of the end zone, and the Panthers will start from their own 20-yard line. Tremendous first half numbers for Rodney Peete as we check out the stats.
Well, the third down conversions have been bad for both teams, but if you look at it here, and this is what Howie Long was talking about, you know, the good news for the Lions, they've had balance offensively. The bad news is just pitiful. I mean, nothing going for the Lions offense. And Rodney Peete over here, 197 yards, and he's gotten the ball to Steve Smith 4 times and Musim Muhammad 4 times. One of those to Muhammad was for a touchdown.
197 yards in the air for Peete. And his first pass of the second half is caught by Muhammad. His 5th reception, finally taken down by Eric Davis after a gain of 8 yards.
Wow, then that's just challenging a guy. That's in your face. We're just going to toss it to Muhammad, and he's going to beat the defensive backs physically. That's what he did. I mean, he just beat them physically. He put a move, but then he used his body to run through Eric Davis and Brian Walker. 8-yard pickup on just a little dump pass.
Muhammad with the game's only touchdown. On second and short, Lamar Smith picks up the first down out to the 31-yard line. Brian Walker made the tackle.
Again, the Lions defensively today, you know, Carolina picks up the first down on the ground, but they've been able to contain the Panthers' run. The Panthers have only rushed for 27 total yards, so there's nothing to be ashamed about on that. But when it comes to the passing game, that's where Rodney Peete and these Panthers have really taken advantage of.
First and 10, 32-yard line. And Smith again looks to cut it back inside. He does. Out to the 36, a gain of 4 on the play. Chris Claiborne made the tackle. 2nd and 6 upcoming.
The thing the Lions have to do is really to fight against an emotional collapse, Kenny. You know, because as a defensive player, there's nothing more disheartening than an offense that just can't do a doggone thing. And that's what the Lions offense has been like, you know, this entire game. And they've been able to do nothing. They've just punted and they've turned it over.
Miscommunication on the toss to Lamar Smith. Good recovery by Smith, but he loses 4 yards on the play.
The Panthers thought coming into this thing that they would be able to run the ball to the outside of the Lions defense. They were concerned about Rodgers and Forshea and the rest of them up front as far as running right at him, but today they've not been able to run inside and they've not been able to run outside either.
Panthers just 1 for 7 today on 3rd down. It's 3rd and 10. They have to get to the 42 for a first down, and they keep it on the ground. Very conservative approach today from head coach John Fox as they run it on 3rd and 10, and Nick Goings able to gain just 3.
No, really, and if you're John Fox and your defense is playing as well as his defense is playing, and the Detroit offense is playing as poorly as it's playing, you know, I can't say that I disagree. I mean, you love to sit up here and see scoring and passing and the ball in the air and all the excitement, but a 10-0 lead against an offense like Detroit, as poor as they've played, is a pretty substantial lead.
Salazar punts it away. Takes a Panthers roll and stops at the 24-yard line. 39-yard kick. 10-0 Carolina.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Porsche. Discover what only Porsche brings to driving.
Well, Well, Terry Bradshaw wanted to see Lions rookie Joey Harrington at quarterback position, but he's not going to, not yet. Although Mike McMahon has been hammered in this game. Sacked 4 times, hit 4 times, hurried, batted passes 3 times. And he has taken some serious punishment. He's also had some passes dropped. And if that's going on, it doesn't matter what quarterback's in the game.
First reception for Oz Hakeem after McMahon was 0 for his last 7. Hakeem gains 15 yards.
This is what they've got to be able to do this. They've got to be able to throw the ball to Hakeem and have him pick up first downs. So it's a nice start for the Detroit Lions.
Remember, McMahon shaken up on the final play of the first half. We did see Joey Harrington for 1 series, and he threw a pass which was tipped and then intercepted. Play action. McMahon looking for the tight end. Michael Ricks deflected, penalty marker. Hannibal Navies on the coverage.
That was maybe Navies did something that we didn't see, but that was a dangerous throw there.
There were 3 Panthers in the vicinity.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Ricks made a
53 defense, automatic first down.
Ricks made a fantastic play last week and a great catch on this seam route. This ball is actually underthrown by Mike McMahon. Well, here's Ricks right here. Watch him. He's running the seam route, and watch, he's got to come back for this, and that's when Navies, you know, pushes through him and prevents him from catching the ball. So, you know, if you affect the receiver's ability and redirect his body, then you're going to get that pass interference play. Now, had Navies turned to make the play on the ball, it would not have been pass interference.
How often do you see that called on a linebacker? Another penalty flag as the pass is incomplete. Schlesinger was the intended receiver. The initial indication is holding against the Lions.
10 yards. Repeat first down.
Stalker McDougal.
He's trying to keep control of Julius Peppers, and I got to tell you, with what Peppers has been doing today, I'm a little surprised that they didn't make an adjustment to get some help, either with a tight end or chip him with a back. Here's Peppers right here, and look at it. He comes inside, and it's probably a good thing he did hold him, or else McMahon was going to get another mouthful of Julius Peppers.
So the Lions gain 30 yards on the Navy's penalty, but now they lose 10.
See that time they gave him help on Peppers.
Nice catch as Scotty Anderson extends to make the catch and picks up the first down, a gain of 21 yards.
Well, Kenny, we saw Mike McMahon under pressure. He's been hammered. He's been sacked. I said you got to get help on Julius Peppers, and that's what they do. Look, here's 2 guys now. Now you have 2 guys right there. You've got the running back Schlesinger, and you've got Stalker McDougal. So now Mike McMahon has the time to find his receiver downfield. So a nice adjustment by the Detroit Lions. I mean, I don't care if the guy's a rookie. If he's taking over the game, you have to account for him. So that time they sent McDougal and gave him some help with Schlesinger.
Deepest penetration of the game by the Lions. And McMahon saw something he did not like. Calls timeout. Play clock was winding down with just over 5 minutes gone by in the second half, and the Lions on the move.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Lions quarterback Mike McMahon 2 for 2 on this drive. In the red zone now. Last week, 3 touchdowns in their 3 trips to the red zone. Inside the 20-yard line is the red zone.
McMahon rolling right on the keeper. And a loss of 1 on the play. Chris Jenkins, first Panther, in on the tackle.
From behind by Chris Jenkins.
I cannot figure out. This just looks like, I don't know, it's like student body right. You know? And the Panthers defense, I mean, when you've got a fast, slow defense like they do, and those linebackers, I think if you're going to run at them, you want to run at them with some misdirection.
Now 4 wide receivers. Case on the low back, 2nd down and 11. Here comes Rucker. McMahon gets the pass away to Case on, tiptoes down the sidelines, and brought down at the 11, 1 yard shy of the marker.
Yeah, Rucker comes free around Jeff Backus. The Lions offensive tackles have had trouble all day. They really have. But McMahon hangs in there. He gets the ball off.
0 for 8, Tim.
Short.
0 for 8 are the Lions on third down.
Right.
They were 7 for 14 last week. Two tight ends. Third and short. Off the play fake. McMahon.
There's the running ability.
Avoided the tackle. And takes it close to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, Mike McMahon.
There's the misdirection. He sends everybody. Look, they gave him the same look before, and McMahon went with the student body to the right. This time, the student body goes right. McMahon runs the bootleg. Just escaped the tackle. And we talked about his running ability earlier in this game. Now all of a sudden, this thing is right back in. The Lions are right back into this thing.
So on their first second-half possession, after they gained only 2 yards on offense in the second quarter,
We're done, man.
Lions drive 76 yards, including that 30-yard penalty, and McMahon scores.
5 plays, 76 yards for Detroit, more than their 53 total yards in the first half. Key play, the Carolina 30-yard pass interference penalty against Hannibal Navies. McMahon was 3 for 3. He was perfect on that drive. Then great athleticism for the Detroit quarterback to run it in on the naked bootleg.
Steve Smith on the return for the Panthers. 2 penalty flags as Smith is knocked out of bounds after a 34-yard return.
I know Howie Long and Terry Bradshaw at halftime said the only thing they were looking forward to with their trip to Ford Field next week was meeting Mr. Ford, but I think Mike McMahon's given him something to think about. He certainly did on that series, Kenny.
Well, Marty Morningweg told us yesterday our quarterback situation with McMahon and Harrington, 2 young quarterbacks, is a great problem to have.
During a return, holding number 40 of the receiving team. On the tackle going out of bounds, face mask on the kicking team. Those penalties will all set at the spot of the Carolina foul. 1st and 10.
Offsetting penalties as we check in with JB.
Hey, Kenny and Tim, New Orleans creating its own opportunities. Take a look at Brett Favre out of the shotgun, hooking up with Terry Glenn, hit by Fakir Brown. Fumble picked up by Keo Craver. He takes it 38 yards to pay dirt, and it is Saints on top, 28-10. Back to Kenny and Tim.
So Tim, Fakir Brown with the big hit. He was not even with the Saints last week. He was cut in order to sign a punter, and they brought Brown back this week, and he makes the hit, which leads to the touchdown. Pete to the outside, pass deflected, incomplete. So the New Orleans Saints, Tim, coming off their improbable overtime victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road last week, out on top of the Green Bay Packers.
There's a battle there in Atlanta. Chicago 14-10 over Atlanta now. Atlanta without Ray Buchanan. He tested positive for steroids, so he's out 4 weeks. A cornerback, no less.
2nd and 10, 23-yard line. Pete looking for Lamar Smith. Makes the catch down the sidelines. Lamar Smith out of the backfield all the way down to the Lions. 19 a 58-yard pass play.
And how many times, Kenny, every time, almost every time today, the Panthers have come out in this spread offense with an empty backfield, there has been a wide open receiver. And Rodney Pete makes a beautiful touch pass. You know, Pete right now, the way he throws this ball and the way he threw the touchdown pass to Muhammad, just laying it in deep downfield. Really, it's like kind of like the Chris Chandler type of a pass, the way he used to lay those deep balls in.
So the Panthers in the red zone. Pete to Muhammad. Brought up by Todd Light after a gain of 7.
Again, let's go back to that big play to Lamar Smith, Kenny. Look, empty backfield. You've got 5 receivers, and here's the key one, Lamar Smith. He's going to run down, and look how open he is. Look where the coverage is. I mean, he gets into a nice pocket in the zone, and Rodney Peete lays it in there. It's very nice. The thing is, as Rodney Peete makes these deep throws like that more and more, Dan Henning is going to have more and more confidence in running those plays. You're going to give him more opportunities.
Penalty flag as the pass was intended for Muhammad. Todd Light pushed off. He says Muhammad grabbed his face mask.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe, but Todd Light impedes his...
24 defense. Automatic first down.
Light impedes his ability to get to the ball. Here it is here. Light's going to cover Muhammad from the outside there, and that's that shove, that last shove. And the officials are right there on top of it.
First and goal following the penalty from the Lions 3.
Now remember, the Panthers have had almost no success running the ball today against this Detroit front 7.
Lamar Smith, no problems this time. Touchdown, Carolina Panthers. Late penalty flag thrown in the end zone following the touchdown.
I'll tell you what, the hole on that play opened up like a can of sardines.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 45 of the defense. The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Brian Walker, the guilty Detroit Lion.
Now, Walker got buried by Brad Hoover on that play, and he didn't like it.
So the yards will be enforced on the ensuing kickoff. Casey for the point after. So the Panthers come right back after McMahon scored on the 11-yard touchdown run. Panthers, 4 plays, 77 yards. A Smith touchdown. Lamar Smith, one of the keys during the scoring drive for the Carolina Panthers. Big reception and then the 3-yard touchdown run. Following the penalty, Casey kicking off from the 45. Desmond Howard takes a knee in the end zone. Sauerbrunn kicking off for the Panthers. Well, Tim, America has spoken, and now you get what you asked for as Jimmy Johnson joins the Fox NFL Sunday crew for the rest of the season, making America's #1 pregame show even better. Next week, the boys take their show on the road as they open up Detroit's brand new Ford Field and break down the much-anticipated revenge matchup between Spurrier's Redskins and Mariucci's 49ers. Fox NFL Sunday begins next week at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
I mean, really, those guys give you the best inside football information, and they're also the funniest.
And Jimmy Johnson returning for the remainder of the season. Another Lion drop, this time Scotty Anderson.
Well, Kenny, the pregame this morning, I don't know if you missed it, but I got a couple clips.
I'm glad John's here because I hate being the only pretty face on this show.
Oh, my goodness. That may sound ridiculous, but it's not just about pretty faces. You know, they had Bernie Mac out there on the football field, John Elway explaining what quarterbacks do when they scramble, and then Terrell Davis.
Man, his hair in my suit.
Finds a hair in his suit.
Ooh, save that for Terry.
Big Denver Broncos influence on the pregame show as James Stewart gains just one. You had John Elway, Terrell Davis, a couple of Denver Broncos Super Bowl heroes.
Yeah, Terrell Davis helping Jimmy Kimmel with his picks. Kimmel 3 for 1, or 3 and 1 last week.
Jimmy let his cousin Sal make the picks today, or did Jimmy make the picks and Sal just relayed them to the nation?
It was off Jimmy's sheet, but enough foolery. Marty Morningweg is not up for any foolery right now. They're in a critical 3rd down situation. Mike McMahon came out, was beautiful, drove the Lions down for a touchdown. Panthers answered right back.
McMahon pass deflected, intercepted.
just when Mike McMahon, you thought he had it going, he drops back, he feels a little pressure, he forces this ball. I mean, he just forced that pass in there. Honestly, he had no business throwing it. I'm sure he knows it. And then it's the Carolina defense, which has been awesome all day long today, with another huge play.
40 yards on the return by Minter, his 9th career interception, his 2nd career touchdown. Now 24-7, Carolina.
Mike McMahon gets some pressure right here from Brenson Buckner, but you're going to see right up here that he has no business throwing this pass. Look at the coverage right there. I mean, Terry Cousins has a better chance at catching this ball than Michael Ricks does. Look at the position that Terry Cousins has. I mean, you know, that's just one of those extreme rookie mistakes by Mike McMahon. That was a really, really terrible decision.
Howard up to the 28-yard line. Lester Towns, the special teams tackle after a 13-yard return.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Harrington in now after that play. Because
well, here's what McMahon has been faced with today. He's been sacked 4 times, and Harrington will come in. 2 interceptions, 1 thrown by McMahon, 1 by Harrington. And only 2.9 yards per play for the Lions offense.
It has not been easy for Mike McMahon. I remember coming into this game, I said, hey, Mike McMahon's going to be a quarterback in this league if he just sticks to it. He's got we've seen his athleticism, we've seen him throw accurately, we've seen his toughness, but this is a tough deal for any quarterback.
So Harrington back in, hands off to James Stewart. Harrington played 1 series for the Lions in the first half. He was 2 for 3, and he was intercepted by Mark Fields on a deflection, so both interceptions were actually deflected.
Right. I mean, he was in tough shape, and you know, also you have to think of all the drops the Lions had. The receivers, I've seen at least 5 drops today by the Lions wide receivers. So you know, that doesn't make it easy, but you know, hopefully for Harrington they can get James Stewart, like on that last play, going again and get a run game going.
2nd down and 6, play action. Harrington's pass is broken up. Deion Grant, pass intended for Scotty Anderson, who's replaced the injured Bill Schrader, who suffered a rib injury back in the first quarter.
And Harrington was lucky on that one that it wasn't picked off. Now, Deion Grant is a tough physical guy, and he came in there, and he really had a chance to bring that ball down. So this is an unenviable position for any quarterback to be in. With a line that has gotten you pounded all day, with receivers that have dropped the ball, and with a reduced run game. Since James Stewart went out with that injury, we've not seen a lot of him.
Harrington's pass incomplete on 3rd down, so the Lions will punt yet again.
Wow.
John Jett will punt for the 7th time. Steve Smith backpedaling, takes it out the 14-yard line. Good special teams coverage by the Lions. 3 penalty flags, as Jimmy Wyrick was the first Lion downfield following the 53-yard Jett punt.
A lot of flags today during the kicking game, Kenny.
3 flags came out on this last Lions punt.
Personal foul, tackle by the face mask. 59 of the kicking team. 15 yards, first down.
Jeff Gooch, the guilty Lion. Well, we observed a moment of silence prior to the opening kickoff for Johnny Unitas, who was selected as the quarterback of the all-time NFL team back in 2000 by the Hall of Fame Selection Committee. Johnny U passed away earlier this week. Led the Baltimore Colts to NFL titles in 58, 59. Also a member of the Super Bowl V winning Colts back in January of 1971.
Jerry Richardson there, the Carolina Panthers owner, of course a teammate of Johnny Unitas's.
We talked earlier about how he used his playoff check to start his fast food franchise empire that he ultimately built this franchise on it. You know, really, Kenny, there can never be another Johnny Unitas because of the coach to quarterback radio they have now. He called all his own plays, so he was really an offensive coordinator and a quarterback at the same time. You just don't have that in the game anymore.
Little trickery from the Panthers, but the Lions read it perfectly. James Hall in on the stop. Well, before the game, we asked Panthers owner Jerry Richardson about the generosity of his former teammate Johnny Unitas.
Well, he was a huge hero in Baltimore, in particular in the state of Maryland. And as a rookie, we had one car in our family, and John would pick us up or pick me up, take me to practice, and bring me home every day. And having come off of a great world championship game like he did, to reach out to a rookie was pretty special.
And Jerry Richardson caught a touchdown pass from Johnny Unitas in the 1959 NFL championship game. He, under pressure, connects with Nick Goings, but he's stopped about 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage by Barrett Green, so the Panthers will punt. And Tim, our videotape technician, Gene Matthews, a neighbor of Johnny Unitas in Baltimore, very good friends. They played golf together through the years, so you and I, along with Gene Matthews, would like to pass along our condolences to the entire Unitas family.
Absolutely. One of the greats of the game. And like I said, there never can be another Johnny Unitas because of coach to quarterback radio now. And you don't see quarterbacks calling their own plays and orchestrating their own offensive comebacks. It's not to criticize today's players. It's just you won't see them again.
More
we have delay game on a defense, making an unnatural move, causing the offense to move. 5 yards, and it's still 4th down.
Threaded flinch rule, as
So Sauerbrunn will do it again. Marty Morningweg and the Lions down 24-7 here in Charlotte, with the home opener at Ford Field coming up next week against the Packers.
And a tremendous amount of pressure on Marty Morningweg to come back to the opening of Ford Field with at least 1 win.
Big rush punt nearly blocked by the Lions. Howard lets it go, and it rolls inside the 20 down at the 19-yard line. Ball is loose. Did Howard touch it? Officials say no. It will be Lions football, 51 yards on the punt and roll.
A kicking team member pushed a member of the receiving team into the ball. Under the rules, that's the same as not touching it. Therefore, Detroit's ball, 1st and 10.
So Howard pushed into the football. We take you back to Yankee Stadium, 1958 NFL title game. December 28th of 58. Johnny Unitas warming up on the sidelines. Makes the connection here with his favorite target, Raymond Berry, in the end zone. And then in overtime, one of the most famous plays in league history, Alan Amici, the game-winning touchdown, as Harrington hits James Stewart, but he's brought down by Mark Fields after a gain of just 1.
And Harrington under pressure on that play, Kenny. Again, the last time in the first half when we saw Harrington come in, we saw on 3rd down, Panthers came with a big blitz and forced him into, of course, the ball was batted, throwing that interception. You can bet they're going to come and try to bring some pressure on him, not necessarily on 2nd down, but certainly on 3rd.
On 2nd and 9, the handoff to Stewart. And again, a terrific effort by the Panthers defensively. Deion Grant coming up from the free safety position. And the crowd really appreciates what Panthers have done today on D.
And the Panthers defense is not afraid to blitz Harrington. They're afraid to blitz McMahon. I will tell you that because, John Fox talked about it. He said, when McMahon's in there, we're very concerned about his mobility. But now with Harrington in there, you better believe they're gonna send some bodies his way.
Fans on their feet. Lions 1 for 11.
Julius Peppers is right here.
1 for 11 on 3rd down. Harrington's pass incomplete. Larry Foster, the intended receiver. Reggie Howard on the coverage.
You just feel the spirits of this Lions team starting to collapse here.
That'll bring up 4th down. John Shedd on the punt for the Lions.
Just a poorly thrown ball, too, Kenny.
And that leads to punt number 8 for John Shedd. Back at his 30-yard line, Steve Smith. Smith is tackled for a loss. Ryan Walker, loss of 2 following the 49-yard punt by Jett. Well, Rodney Peete, who's passed for 268 yards so far this afternoon, leads the Panthers offense back out. We'd like to welcome the men and women in uniform serving around the world and watching Fox NFL Sunday. We hope you'll join us all season long on the American Forces Network. And a terrific job, Tim, by 4 local Fox affiliates purchasing the remaining tickets to guarantee a sellout today. And the tickets were distributed to civil servants, policemen, firefighters, and medics. Every NFL game is sold out. No blackouts today as Lamar Smith takes it across the 30. Only the 6th time in NFL history. 6th weekend that no game is blacked out on television.
Kenny, this Panthers team, which went 1-15 last year, they lost so many games. They lost leads. They lost close games. They're going to play this very safe. John Fox is going to just try to run, basically run out the clock here for a quarter with this kind of lead again over a Detroit offense that, but for one series, has been totally self-destructive.
15 minutes of clock left to run off. It's the Panthers by 17. The lead, Kenny Albert, welcoming you back along with Tim Green. Panthers 1 quarter away from making it 2-0, playing with a quarterback who did not start during the preseason.
Yeah, and Rodney Peete has been outstanding. I mean, it's been the Carolina Panthers defense with a bunch of big plays, but Rodney Peete has looked really good in the passing game.
The toss to Lamar Smith. And he's taken down at the 33-yard line. Rodney Peete, a guy who found out he would start last week's game against Baltimore from his brother-in-law.
Yeah, who saw it on a sports ticker, and he gets a call from his brother-in-law and says, hey, I just saw it on, I think it was probably the Fox Sports Net ticker scrolling across the screen. Said, hey, you're going to start next week. And then 10 minutes later, he gets the call from head coach John Fox.
And that was the Sunday prior to the season opener against the Ravens. Said he received about 20 phone calls from people telling him that they heard he was going to start.
He has thrown some very nice deep passes today.
Peete to the air on 3rd down, and it's complete to Lamar Smith. And he's close to the marker out at the 39-yard line. We'll see where the officials spot the ball. It is a 1st down, says referee Jerry Austin.
If you think about this game, Kenny, coming into the season and into this game, the Panthers, they wanted to be able to run the ball. They wanted to be able to use up the clock, not have turnovers. They did not want to have to go to the air. But the air was where all the opportunities lay. And they've got 275 yards passing today.
Go where you are.
Look at Pete's numbers. Lamar Smith running the ball. You see there, they've not had much success at all running the ball on the ground.
They have success on this play. Brad Hoover out to midfield as we check in once again with JB.
Hey, Kenny, nip and tuck affair taking place in Atlanta. Take a look at how the Bears got back on top. Jim Miller hooking up with David Terrell. 14-yard strike. Bears go on top. They're leading at 14-13. Terrell with only 2 catches so far this season, both for touchdowns. Back to Kenny and Tim.
All right, JB, Tim, you and I get to visit Champaign next weekend for the Bears and the surprising New Orleans Saints.
That's right. The Saints looking like they're going to be 2-0. They're up pretty good over the Green Bay Packers. Well, you never know with Atlanta. They played Green Bay tough last week.
Pete to Muhammad.
Another just really pretty pass laid in by Rodney Peete. And Muhsin Muhammad, remember, beginning of the game, Kenny, we said, you know, John Fox doesn't have a lot of high-powered weapons, but he's got Muhsin Muhammad, he's got Wesley Walls, and Muhsin Muhammad has been exquisite today. Watch him here. He's just going to break this thing. He's going to break here, breaks to the post, and look how Pete just lays that ball in there so nicely. And look at Muhammad. He has to stretch, he has to reach. Gets a little grass in his face. He's a tough guy.
Gain of 33. Here's Lamar Smith. It's him. This is career start number 74 in the NFL for Rodney Peete. He's gone over the 300-yard mark for just the 3rd time, and it's the first 300-yard game for Rodney since he did it 10 seasons ago with the Lions against the Buccaneers.
It was interesting, though, talking to him, Kenny. You know, he played underneath Rich Gannon out in Oakland last year, and he also pointed out Testaverde, both quarterbacks older than he is, who have had really some remarkable success in their later years. Now, Rodney Peete doesn't have the mobility of those guys, but he's got the smarts. And today we've seen some really nice touch passing from Rodney Peete.
Here's Hoover, 2nd and 9. Forces his way down to the 10-yard line.
And you hear the crowd exploding. Hoover, they like Hoover. Hoover, a lot like our own Moose Johnson, Daryl Johnson, when he was with the Dallas Cowboys, and the crowd just loved whenever Moose got the ball for the Cowboys, and they love the same thing here with the Carolina Panthers.
Hoover, a local product out of Western Carolina University. 3rd down and 2 from just outside the 10. Looks to have the 1st down as the pass was caught by Muhammad, who was over the 100-yard mark for the 16th time in his 8-year NFL career.
And here's Muhammad's toughness. You see that there? He makes the catch. I mean, Light gets a running start and just pounds him. But Muhsin's big time. He's got skill, he's got speed, he's got size, and he uses it all. That's the thing that's really special about him. He uses all the tools that he has, and he knows the game.
9th play of the drive for the Panthers. Peete with time on 1st down, throws to the outside. Penalty flag.
Sure.
Corey Harris on Wesley Walls.
Harris just climbed all over Wesley Walls' back. I got to tell you, though, the offensive line, and we haven't talked a lot about the Panthers' offensive line.
25 defense.
They have done a very nice job protecting Rodney Peete today.
1st down at the 1.
Peete has not been sacked once. Watch Wesley Walls. You know, he's always a danger in the red zone here. He makes his move to the outside. Watch Corey Harris. He's got a hold of him. Actually, it didn't look as bad as it did the first time. That time, it looked like he really didn't interfere with him at all.
Wesley did a good job convincing the officials.
Yeah, I guess it depends on your angle. Interestingly, the official that called it was, you know, had it from our angle too, from the backside.
Peete looking in zone, just out of the reach of a diving Muhammad. Fans were chanting Hoove. They wanted Hoover to get the football.
Well, they may have wanted it, but really, Kenny, it's been the passing game today for the Carolina Panthers that has been so good. Here's Muhsin Muhammad, comes out, fakes that he's blocking. He was wide open on that play too.
Now 2nd and goal. Panthers leading the Lions 24-7. 4th quarter here in Charlotte. Hoover and Smith are the backs. And the play is blown dead.
Going to make it just a little bit easier. It looked like encroachment on the Lions. This is going to have a devastating effect.
93 defense.
For Lions
fans
and
the goal.
this Lions team.
Still 2nd down.
Well, they came into this game saying, hey, if we can't beat you know, a team that went 1-15 last year. You know, who can we beat?
The only team that won fewer games last season than the Lions.
Yeah, and as we said earlier in this game, I mean, it's not just that they were beaten last week by Miami. The Lions were embarrassed. I mean, they had missed tackles and dropped passes and missed assignments, and it just was a very ugly scene.
Second and goal. Smith, hesitation. He's in. Touchdown. Lamar Smith, his second of the afternoon.
Panthers have got to be thinking to themselves that they might not have that bad of a football team. They beat the Ravens last week. Granted, no one's expecting too much from the Ravens offensively, but they certainly have a pretty respectable defense.
And again, for the second straight week, Tim, Panthers on offense have taken care of the football. They have not committed a turnover.
Sunday is brought to you by the new H2 Hummer, like nothing else. By Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time. By Dockers. Go khaki with Stain Defender. And by DirecTV. Movies, music, and exclusive sports from the leader in digital satellite entertainment.
There's Rodney Peete, who had not started since the 1998 season. Last year with Oakland, he was on the field for exactly one play during the entire regular season. Peete and the Panthers well on their way to their second victory in 2 weeks. Desmond Howard takes a knee in the end zone. Lions back at offense when we come back, trailing Peete and the Panthers by 24. Terrific effort on both sides of the football by the Carolina Panthers. They lead the Detroit Lions 31-7. Defensively, Tim, 4 sacks. Julius Peppers tying a franchise record with 3 sacks today. Mike McMahon back in at quarterback for the Lions. They start from the 20. McMahon complete. Avion Kason gains 14 yards out to the 34. Julius Peppers made the tackle.
You know, with how wild the NFL has been, especially in week 1 and all the crazy comebacks, you gotta try it if you're the Lions. You gotta go hurry up here, and you gotta take a crack at it.
McMahon on first down over the top to the tight end Michael Ricks for another Lions first down. Gain of 12 yards on the play. Patriots routing the Jets 34-7 as we check out scores on the Fox box. From the 46-yard line, McMahon under pressure. Kason took a hard hit from linebacker Dan Morgan.
Dan Morgan, the guy that John Fox calls a throwback because of the intensity that he brings to every play, whether it's in a game or in practice. So the guy is just a madman. I mean, you can't even talk to him during a game. Julius Peppers on the sideline. That's not a good thing. He's had an incredible day today. As you said just a few minutes ago, 3 sacks.
Man's pass incomplete. Larry Foster, the intended receiver. So we've seen McMahon start. Harrington came in. Then McMahon, then Harrington, now McMahon again, as the Lions have racked up only 144 yards in total offense.
76 of those was on that one drive coming out after halftime where Mike McMahon looked fantastic. He was 3 for 3, and then he ran a bootleg into the end zone and closed this game within 3 points. It was 10-7 at the time. Then Rodney Peete has just opened it up since then with a passing game.
Rucker with his second sack, the 5th Panthers sack today. 3 for Julius Peppers and now 2 for Mike Rucker.
Well, these players have done it. Jack Del Rio has done it too. I mean, the defensive coordinator for the Panthers has got to be given credit for what he has done today. There he is right there, giving Mike Rucker a hug. Jack Del Rio who's just was a heck of a player, and now he has the kind of presence, Kenny, when you talk to him, that tells you he will be a head coach in this league. No question about it.
Did a terrific job in Baltimore. Now in his first season working under John Fox. Steve Smith on the return. He's had a busy day. That's the 9th John Jett punt. 48 yards on the punt, 8 on the return with just over 8 minutes remaining.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Saturn, makers of The View, the redesigned L Series, and coming this fall, the all-new Ion.
The Carolina Panthers just over 8 minutes away from eclipsing their win total of the 2001 season. They were 1-15 last year, won their opener against Minnesota, lost the next 15, looking to make it 2-0. The pitch to Lamar Smith, out to the 32-yard line, and what a tough season it was for George Seifert's Panthers a year ago. First team in NFL history to lose 15 straight in one season. They lost 9 games by 8 points or less, Tim. 3 losses coming on the final play, and they blew 6 fourth-quarter leads.
And really, you'd almost rather get blown out the way the Lions are getting blown out today than lose all those heartbreakers. But I guess not really. I'm trying to find some kind of consolation for this Detroit team, but at least if you lose the close ones, you feel like you're in the game. I mean, Lions were not in the game last week in Miami after the first quarter.
Okay, we're done, guys.
And really, after the Mike McMahon, touchdown and touchdown drive right here in the second half. After that, it's just been all Carolina. I mean, these guys have got to be really disheartened. Remember, Kenny, coming into this game, they all talked about, hey, we're preparing for this like like it's a playoff game. We've got to have a tremendous amount of pride. And you see these Detroit defensive linemen, they've done a pretty good job, certainly shutting down the run today. There's the offensive Ray Brown, great offensive lineman, Pro Bowl player from the San Francisco 49ers. This is just a tough, bitter pill to swallow.
Timeout called by Rodney Peete. After McMahon scored that touchdown, which brought the Lions to within 3, Panthers came right back and scored less than 2 minutes later. And they now lead 31-7. Well, Tim, this October will be filled with spellbound days and mystical nights as sports' biggest month comes to Fox. Baseball's division series kicks off with up to 125 hours of October's magical matchups with thrilling NFL showdowns and exciting baseball playoff action. No other network will broadcast more sports in a single month this year. The magical matchups begin October 1st on Fox.
And who can forget this moment last season? Luis Gonzalez, base hit, bottom of the 9th, game 7, and capped the Diamondbacks' miracle comeback. Gave Arizona their first World Championship, and boy, there was some incredible moments in that World Series last season, and what a great battle back and forth. And I'm looking forward to watching all those games on Fox here in October. And we've got great football games coming as well.
3rd down and 4 for the Panthers. Peete rolling right and hits the tight end, Wesley Walls. No, he did not hold on. Walls thought he had it. But over to say no is the head linesman, John Schleier.
Take a look at it here. Wesley Walls, he's got that.
Carolina is challenging the call on the field of an incomplete pass.
He's got it right here. I don't know if it gets knocked out. I'd say he had control of the ball. And when he's got control, he's got it tucked in, he's down. Yeah, I think they're going to reverse that and give him the catch.
And John Fox challenging the call on the field. Looked like John Fox initially was not going to challenge. Panthers would have punted, but Rodney Peete signaled over. Let's challenge and try and keep the clock moving.
Sure.
Getting back to the Diamondbacks and the Yankees about a week after that Luis Gonzalez series-winning hit. You and I were in Arizona to work a Cardinals-Giants game, and our former Fox colleague Bob Brenly joined us in the booth with the World Series trophy.
And absolutely, and just take a look here, Kenny. You see Wesley Walls. He's looking up at the jumbotron. He's made his own review.
He wanted John Fox to challenge.
Absolutely.
After reviewing the play, the receiver, when he comes to the ground, the ball is still moving, and when he rolls over, it touches the ground. Incomplete pass.
John Fox says, get out of here. It doesn't really matter now, but the official's saying the ball is still moving, and he never has it tucked in, and then it does touch the ground there. So I'm not going to get into a big dispute over it.
Well, if Wesley Walls finishes his career with 499 receptions, he'll think back to that one.
Yeah.
Currently has 414.
I think the key probably to that one is watching it in real time. You know, when you slow it down, it looks like he's got the possession, but when you run it probably in real time, that ball's never set in there.
Tim, guess what? Another flag during a punt.
Holding number 36 of the receiving team during the kick. 10-yard penalty. First down, Detroit.
That's Stephen Trejo. So the Lions back on offense with 6:19 remaining. Tough afternoon for both Lion quarterbacks, and Tim, some people have trouble telling them apart.
Some fans, even Jocko with the per diems on the plane right out.
Here's Schlesinger. Well, McMahon was telling us yesterday he received an envelope on the Lions charter flight into Charlotte with the per diem money, and it said Joey Harrington on the envelope.
He said, Jocko, come on. What's going on? I mean, he gets confused out in public. He says sometimes people come up to him at the mall or restaurants and say, yeah, forget that McMahon guy. I like you, Joey. He's like, I'm McMahon.
And one of the fans did not believe him, asked him to show his ID.
How about the nerve of that?
He pulled it out.
And McMahon's mom can't understand. You don't look anything like Joey Harrington. I'll tell you, whatever the situation, whatever, both young quarterbacks, both talented, any quarterback thrown into the situation today with the pounding and the drop passes and the miscues and the drop off in the run game after James Stewart, went off with his injury. It is unenviable for either one, and you can see neither one has had much success at all.
Now, what you did not see on there, the 5 times McMahon has been sacked today.
Yeah, and one time right before half, remember, he got pounded by Julius Peppers. Peppers with 3 sacks today.
Another penalty flag. No surprise during the punt. Smith on the return for the Panthers up to the 44-yard line. As Chris Winkie gets set to come in at quarterback for Carolina.
During the kick, holding number 28 of the receiving team. 10 yards from where the change of possession occurred. First down.
Thank you very much, Jerry Austin. We remind you, America has spoken, and you get what you ask for. Jimmy Johnson returns to Fox NFL Sunday. There will be a Ford Field in Detroit 1 week from today, prior to the Ford Field regular season opener, Lions and Packers.
Oh, we welcome Jimmy back, and those guys got to be up there for the opening of Ford Field. And last week, once again, the Fox pregame show in the ratings outdid both CBS and ESPN combined. So if you're not watching the Fox pregame show, you should be. You're going to get the most information. I guarantee you're going to get the most laughs as well.
And Jimmy Johnson will return next week. Lamar Smith out to the 33-yard line. Chris Winkie, the Heisman Trophy winner in 2000 out of Florida State. He's now 30 years of age. Remember, he played 6 years of minor league baseball, and he started 15 games last year for the Carolina Panthers.
And Kenny, you know, Winkie is another talented young quarterback, but there's so much more to playing quarterback in this league than having the ability to throw and having the ability to move and having the ability to lead. I mean, you have to see things over and over and over. And, you know, Winkie hasn't seen it enough, even though he started 15 games last year. McMahon hasn't seen it enough. He started 5 in his NFL career, and certainly Joey Harrington hasn't seen it enough either. So if you're going to play with a young quarterback, you know you're going to have mistakes. You know you're going to have turnovers. And that's why John Fox, you know, really prophetically made his decision to go with Rodney Peete, not because necessarily Rodney Peete has a stronger arm or gives him a better upside, but he gave the Panthers a better downside in his management of the game. And again, Peete, no turnovers in either of the first 2 games, and the Panthers are sitting here at 2-0.
And Winkie, who started all 4 preseason games for the Panthers, John Fox says he's still a big part of our plans, just as yet to grasp the offense as we'd like him to, as well as we'd like him to. And Peete has started both regular season games and will make it 2-0 on the season.
And just, you know, not to criticize Winkie, but that was his trouble last year. I mean, he threw the ball well. He had a good completion percentage, but he had 11 touchdowns and he had 19 interceptions. And that's just going to happen. I mean, that's happened with every quarterback who's played in this league except for Dan Marino. Marino was the only one who came in raw and inexperienced and lit it up.
It's the 17th punt combined of today's game, taken by another former Heisman Trophy winner, Desmond Howard, who won the award 10 years before Winkie. 8-yard return, 47 yards on the punt. Ford Field, the new home of the Detroit Lions. Groundbreaking ceremonies back in November of 1999 as the Lions moved out of the Silverdome. Corey Schlesinger, the Lions fullback, lending a hand.
I knew he was a blue-collar player, but I didn't know he was that blue-collar. He had the sledgehammer going. He was working the steel, hard hat on.
Corey helping out at Ford Field. Super Bowl 40 will be played there in February 2006.
Tampa Bay. Wow. Slamming Baltimore.
Ravens have scored only 7 points in 2 games.
They've got a young quarterback.
Chris Redmond out of Louisville. Same alma mater as Johnny Unitas, and Unitas a big supporter of Chris Redmond during his 2 seasons in Baltimore.
Talk about, you know, throwbacks and toughness. I mean, Mike McMahon he got an old school hammering from Dan Morgan on that last play. He has taken some brutal shots today. A couple from Julius Peppers, and on that last one, I mean, Morgan just came. He came untouched from around the left side and just pounded Mike McMahon from the blind side.
Hard rainfall once again with under 4 minutes remaining. McMahon in trouble. Sack number 6 for Carolina. Second of the season for Chris Jenkins. Panthers now 1 shy of their team record, which is 7 sacks in 1 game.
Panthers defense is dancing in the rain now, Kenny. Here they come. It's just a 4-man rush. Little stunt right there. But they get a lot of pressure right up in McMahon's face. And there's Jenkins.
Last season, Tim, Panthers defense had only 26 sacks, 4th fewest in the league. They have 6 today. McMahon decides to hand it off this time. Not much running room, as Brunson Buckner was the first Panther in to stop Corey Schlesinger.
Look at this one up here, Kenny. New Orleans hanging on. 4.5 minutes left. 8-point lead. You got your 2-point conversion. You got Brett Favre on the other side, so nothing set there.
Saints looking to bounce back after they lost their last 4 games in convincing fashion last season. 1 in Tampa Bay in overtime last Sunday. And they have the lead over the Green Bay Packers. Made the playoffs 2 years ago under Jim Haslett. Defeated the St. Louis Rams in the wild card game.
And here in Carolina, Rodney Peete, again, no turnovers today. And probably, really more importantly, 311 yards passing, 1 touchdown, and he threw some really nice touch passes deep today.
Steve Smith taken down on the return. 53-yard punt. And no flags, believe it or not. 2:25 to go, fourth quarter. All of the tickets were sold, but the rain kept some of the Panther fans away. Kenny Albert with Tim Green, Paul Butler on the sidelines. A 31-7 lead for the Panthers, who will win their first 2 games after going 1-15 a year ago. Today's telecast produced by P.T. Navarro, directed by Peter Bleckner. Chris Winkie remains in at quarterback. Our associate director, Fran Morrison. Broadcast associate, Carrie Kloster. Technical producer, Kevin McRoby. Pre-game show produced by Scott Ackerson. Nick Goings to the outside. Pre-game directed by Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor is Jonathan X. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. Executive producers Ed Gorin and David Hill. Crunching the numbers for us today, Elliot Kalb along with Ben Bulba, Mark Sesno, and Ty Yohe. It'll be a long flight back to Michigan for Marty Morningweg and the Lions as we have reached the 2-minute warning here in Charlotte. Celebration beginning on the Carolina Panthers sideline as the Panthers will go 2-0 for the first time since 1996, their second season in the NFL, when they won 12 games and reached the NFC Championship game, losing to the Green Bay Packers. The only time the Panthers have started 2-0. From the 39, Winkie with the handoff to the Syracuse product, D. Brown, who spent last year on injured reserve. His freshman season, Tim, he was the backup quarterback to Donovan McNabb. Realized he would not get a chance to play much at that position, and has made the NFL as a running back. Smart choice, I think.
Kenny, this game is coming up for those of you watching us now. Atlanta, Chicago, 14-13, 2.5 minutes left in Atlanta. So those of you who are with us right now, we will take you to that game as soon as the time runs out here on our clock, and that's very shortly.
This is Brown again. Story for the Panthers today, defense, 6 sacks. Julius Peppers, second overall draft pick, sacked Mike McMahon 3 times in the first half alone.
Yeah, I think defense, and also I think Rodney Peete and Muhsin Muhammad. I think both of those guys had tremendous games, and I was really impressed with some of the deep passes that Rodney Peete threw.
Muhammad 108 yards receiving. Rodney Peete, his first 300-yard passing game since 1992.
Look, New Orleans, Kenny, they extended their lead to 15 points with 2 minutes left. Of course, nothing over with Brett Favre on the other side, but it looks like New Orleans will now be 2-0, and the Panthers and the Saints will be on top of this new NFC South division. Tampa Bay and Atlanta, the other 2 teams in the new division.
Tampa Bay with the big lead on Baltimore. They'll go to 1-1. Atlanta lost last week, so pending the outcome of their game, they trail the Bears by a point. But it will be the Panthers and the Saints, as you pointed out, on top of the NFC South. And many of the experts expected it to be the Buccaneers and the Falcons, come December at least.
Well, it is still very early in this season, and even though Detroit really played poorly in the Miami game and they had their problems certainly here today, 0-2 is not the end of a football season, especially in today's National Football League. With the parity and the evenness, you've got to hang in there. You've got to continue to hope and hope that things get better. Certainly have 2 talented young quarterbacks for the future. But right now, the present is pretty ugly for the Detroit Lions.
And Tim, an ovation from those remaining for the Carolina defense out on the field with 27 seconds remaining.
Saw Muhsin Muhammad there. Big day for him today. 8 catches, 108 yards, including a 33-yard touchdown.
Schlesinger tackled from behind by Sean Gilbert. Panthers allowed only 7 points last week. They allowed only 7 today. They forced 3 turnovers. They had 6 sacks. And Rodney Peete, 311 yards in the air. John Fox's Panthers now 2-0. The Lions drop to 0-2. Tim and I will return to Charlotte right after these messages. All right, back in Charlotte, Tim. Panthers now 2-0. Lions 0-2.
Yeah, big defensive day for the Carolina Panthers, led by their first-round draft pick, Julius Peppers, second pick of the draft. 3 sacks today, 2 batted balls. He was outstanding.
And Rodney Peete over the 300-yard mark, first time in 10 years. So for Tim Green and our entire crew, Kenny Albert saying so long from Charlotte. The Carolina Panthers eclipsed their victory total of a year ago. Now we send you to Pat Summerall and Brian Baldinger in Atlanta.